All right, the last little lesson I want to talk about on our little practice model here before we get down into the fundamentals, kind of the rudimentary lessons on, Revit in general with the interface and all that stuff. I just want to point out a couple more things about a beam system. Let's just go to, say, the level 3. We can do this from a 2D or 3D view. If we make sure that our select pinned elements is enabled, in other words, it doesn't have the red X in it down in here, you can pick on an individual beam, you can unpin it, and then click out. Then if you want, you can pick on here and you can move it or nudge it over. So if I use my arrow key on the keyboard, I can kind of nudge this guy over. Okay, you can click on here if you want, and if you unpin it, you can actually delete it. Okay, then if I want to draw another beam across here, I should have a C channel loaded. I don't think I have one, but if I go up to here and I'm just going to draw what is a beam, and then with that I'm going to pick something off of here, maybe a small, a 305 by 165, and I'm just going to frame that across there, and then hit escape and draw another one across. You can see the line types are different. When you go from joist to joist, it's a purlin. When you go from girder to girder, it's a joist, and when you go from column to column, it is a girder. So there's different naming conventions and line types. We'll talk about this. So you can go in and modify this. If you pick on here and you unpin this guy, again, you can nudge that and it'll extend that. So beams will always try to extend to each other, but underneath this, if you hover over here, you can still see that beam system knows its original setup. So we can go in and we can reset that if we want. So the key is, as you take these guys and kind of stretch them and move them around, beams are like walls. They're always trying to retain their connectivity. In particular with the beam system, if you pick on the beam system, again, if you hover over here or on the edge and you say edit boundary, once you're inside of there, you can say reset system and it'll reset the whole thing. And then you can hit finish and come out and click out. Now you've got these stragglers in here and you can click on here and delete them. And as long as you can actually select an individual member, you can unpin it, and then you can go in here and you can change it to be, a different shape individually. So then you can grab these individually after the fact, unpin them, and then change them to be a different joist or a different whatever's loaded here. These are the only ones loaded. I could go in here and pick on here and grab any one of these and then go into edit type, and then I can say load, and I can go to structure and load more framing, steel, MC channel, bring it in, grab a C310 by 45, looks good to me, hit OK, bring it in, and now that's been changed. So this guy is now a C channel. And I can even use my modify, my match type properties, and grab this guy and then go bink, bink, and then hit escape, and now these guys are all going to be C channels because I've copied their type over. Go to a 3D view, and we can do that. Now if this guy's unpinned and this guy's unpinned, okay, I can use that same tool to say, okay, copy this over to here and here. Escape. If I want to reset them, I have to grab the beam system using my tab button and then say edit boundary and say reset system, and then hit finish, and they're back to normal, respaced, and reset the member sizes. So another couple of tips on beam systems. We are definitely going to come back and talk more about beam systems, sloping beam systems, and all kinds of neat stuff. So we have to just kind of cap this off on this little mini lesson on kind of getting your feet wet, showing you a little bit about Revit structure. If all you've done so far is just kind of followed along, that's perfectly fine. Some people have used it a little bit and they've been able to follow a little more, and for some people it might not be anything new. Of course, it might be very basic. So we're trying to kind of hit the middle of the target here, and the next few lessons are going to be the basics on the interface and some of the settings and some of the general functionality of the software itself.